Hey everyone, Anthony Touch Tano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of the new M.I.A. record, A.I.M. A.M. M.I.A. rapper, singer, songwriter, activist, out with a new full-length album, a record that I was anticipating, but also I kind of wasn't anticipating it. Really, I was sort of afraid to listen to it. Anticipating it because, in one breath, M.I.A. has proven herself over the years, with just a handful of records, to be one of the most influential, creative, and boundary-pushing artists in the mainstream. Her first few records are these amazingly creative blends of dance music, hip-hop, synth-punk, and a myriad of musical styles from across the world. Amazing singles on these records, fantastic deep cuts as well, and in retrospect, I've even come to appreciate her 2010 album M.I.A. a bit more, which was her most polarizing record at the time that it had been released, because it was so distorted, so abrasive, and so difficult to swallow. And even her last record, M.I.A, was a respectable album. You know, up until this point, I've never really had a reason to doubt the abilities of M.I.A, but with A.I.M, I just feel like my faith has been shattered. I'm just not sure how to take this record, or I didn't even know how I was going to take this record, because pretty much every teaser track to this album I hated outright. All of the songs were dreadfully boring, even the politically charged borders, which you think would be a little more compelling, considering the subject matter of the song. But M.I.A. approaches the track with some of the most drab lyrics she's written in a long time. And I feel equally cold on the songs Go Off and Birds and Free Done, which features a very mediocre vocal performance from none other than Zayn. I just don't get what she was trying to do on this record. Pretty much every track features a repetitive, one-dimensional, redundant instrumental, and over it, vocally, she delivers some of her most underwhelming singing and rapping ever put onto an M.I.A. album. And she's not exactly penning any sharp hooks on this record either. The verses on this record just drone on and on and on and lack the lyrical wit and the vocal swagger that her past records had in spades. Things get painfully awkward on the song Foreign Friend, where she says this: "You can be my best friend, you know too much to be a foe, you were there from before, in the days when I had no dough. Gonna be your best friend, gonna make that shit trend, I'm gonna be your foreign friend, all the way till the end." Are we writing lyrics at a 4th grade level now? Even the song Finally, the lyrics on this track sounds like something a 13-year-old would write to her hater on the internet. I know M.I.A. has never been like, you know, a spiritual lyrical miracle or anything like that, but this album sounds and reads like she had to write it at gunpoint because she had been abducted or something by her label. Or maybe she's trying to just blatantly bore her listeners out of protest, I'm just not sure. The most lively and compelling tracks on the entire record, which are by no degree some of her best that she's ever released, but still, they all kind of come in the second half of the album. I love the song Visa with its instrumental, which features this stuttering, tangy, sour little piano lead, which fits very snugly against these awesome polyrhythms. Even though M.I.A.'s vocals do sound kind of flat on the track, at least the instrumental carries her a little bit and gives the song some oomph. And then there's also the song All My People, which also features a pretty awesome instrumental, a total banger, which weaves in these elements of Indian music for a nice spicy flavor. And on the song Fly Pirate, M.I.A. raps over this fuzzy, booming, kind of lo-fi beat that sounds like a fusion between what she was doing on M.I.A. and maybe what you would hear on like an early Cool Kids single. And finally on the track Ollie Are You Okay? This is maybe the only song in the track listing that I think does something great with the very chill, laid-back, and simple vibe of this album overall, as the instrumental weaves together this sort of droney, hypnotic sound with twangy strings and chanted vocals and very cerebral rhythms. Unfortunately, the other deep cuts don't attain this same level of simple bliss, this level of nirvana. Because generally, the songs on this album aren't quiet for the sake of sounding experimental and alternative. Rather, instead, the album sounds underproduced, sounds underwritten, understructured, because there are a good handful of tracks on this thing that are just 2 minutes and change and end kind of abruptly. The more I listen to this record, the more it feels like some of the tracks here could have been good, like there were some good song ideas at the core of these tracks, but again, the instrumentals just seem so underdeveloped. The lyric writing is just non-existent sometimes. Seems like M.I.A. is really phoning it in on her own album. And this is especially clear when you're listening to the entire album from beginning to end as you're hit with one forgettable moment after another. The biggest irony of this album is its title, which essentially is A.I.M, because I don't think this album could hit the broadside of a barn because it's too unfocused and lacks dedication to pretty much all of the ideas that it's putting forward. For the M.I.A. 10 years ago, this simply would have been a handful of demos that she would have built on to make a more vibrant record. I'm not really sure what else to say about this record other than that. It's just most definitely the most lackluster release I think she has put out so far. I'm feeling a decent to strong 4 on this thing. Transition, and those are my thoughts on this new M.I.A. record. What did you think of this thing if you gave it a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Why? What do you think I should review next? And that's it, everybody. M.I.A. A.I.M. forever.